Is there one thing that you can do to change a future prognosis? All right, is there one thing you can do to protect your future? All right, one more question. Is there one thing that is so amazingly simple and will cost you nothing? In fact, you don't have to eat it. You don't have to take a supplement. If there's one thing you could do to protect your future, would you want to know what it is? Hi, I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, and today is Ask Annette Wednesday. Only today, I'm turning the tables. I'm actually going to ask you my number one question that I ask my clients. Now, my clients consist of pastors, it can consist of missionaries, it can be, we've even had some executives, and we have lots of moms, all right? Because it doesn't matter what level you are, what personality you are, what income bracket you are, we want to have a healthy future, and those are the clients that I work with. I'm on mission to help every one of my clients stay on mission. And so I want to ask you the same question I ask them. And the question is this: do you have a copy of your medical records? And more specifically, do you have a copy of your blood work and your labs that have been done? Now, the normal answer is, my doctor told me I was within normal limits. Well, yay, that sounds comforting, but it's not true, and we're going to discuss that today. I'm also going to share with you 3 steps of how you can protect your future, how you can catch cancer long before your doctors could ever do that. So, watch this, and we're going to just cover this very quickly. Now, do you know that your elevated CRP, your C-reactive protein, can be a precursor to cancer or other serious problems? Did you know that there are 4 tests that you can request every year to show early signs of cancer? Even before your doctor can even diagnose it, you could detect it in your lab work. Did you know that your blood sugar, your glucose level, is an indicator of more than just, diabetes hiding in the shadows? Okay? All of these are examples of why we need to have our blood work done routinely, and more importantly, not just have it done and then your doctor says, oh, you're fine, and then we walk away as if that's okay. But more importantly, not just to have your blood work done every year, but for you to have a copy of your records in your home. Okay? Here's just a stack of my records. I pulled them out of my file in my cabinet just so I could show you. Okay, so stay with me. This is so important, and I'm going to share with you some stories as to how this actually saved lives. Okay, so these, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, we don't want to hear about that in our own personal family, right? We don't even really want to hear about it from anybody. But yet it's such an escalade of issues in today's society, and we need to get a handle on it. And the only way we're going to get a handle on it is if we personally take charge of our health and not leave it up to an insurance program or your doctor. Okay, and so I am here to help you do that. I am here to be your advocate to help you to avoid any problems. Okay, so, then the question is, when I ask my clients, do you have a copy of your records? And they say, well, my doctor said it was within a normal limit. You've heard the term, you've seen it yourself, you let that be an excuse, and we all admit to that. So cancer, listen to me, cancer can be within normal limits if you don't know what you're looking for. Heart disease can be within normal limits if you don't know what you're looking for. So within normal limits does not promise health. Did you hear what I just said? Within normal limits does not promise health. It can be a false security. And on the opposite end, abnormal test results don't necessarily mean you're sick. All right, now you're like, well, then what do I do? Okay, stay with me. I'm going to teach you on what you need to do. Here are 3 steps to protect your future. Number 1 is you need to get your blood work done every 6 months. If not every 6 months, then annually. If you are not getting it done annually, then you are missing out on tracking your future. Okay, and now I'm going to put in some links down below. And if you go to my website, I have two very valuable websites, and one of them is called designedhealthyliving.com. On designedhealthyliving.com, there is a library. Yeah, library meaning you can check out all the materials you want, or you can just stay and read all day long. But one of the links on that library is desired blood work. This is a list of blood work that you need to have done every single year, whether you're a woman or a man, or whether you're even a youngster. That's kind of an old term. I'm not sure why I use that. Okay, so you need to have this blood work done every single year. Now, if your doctor says, well, I have no reason to order that, then you order it anyway. There are times that I've had to pay $200 extra beyond whatever my insurance covered. There are times I've paid $1,000 to cover my blood work. Do you realize that $1,000 of investment in my future protected me from, I actually had cancer scores that were starting to rise. And so I was able to make adjustments in my eating, make adjustments in my supplements, and then I had it retested again in another 6 months, and it was back to normal. That's the value of watching your blood work. Okay, so step number one is you've got to get your blood work done. You have to get it done, because this is a way that God has given the knowledge for so many centuries of drawing blood work and seeing what's happening inside your body, because we can't see inside our body, and I don't think we want to, but it's great that God has given us the ability to read blood work. So getting this done every 6 months to every year allows you to see what's happening, because we all know people who said, yeah, I was feeling great and I went in for a physical and found out I have stage 3 cancer. I don't ever want to hear that happening from any of my clients, because I've taught them you've got to have your blood work done, and you have to print off a copy to keep for yourself. Don't tell me it's on the internet. You can go to the doctor's link and look at it. I don't want to hear that. I hear it all the time. I'm a paper person. You want it in front of you. That way we can truly track what's happening. Okay. Now, step number 2, which I've kind of already told you, is go to my website and print off that list of desired blood work. Excuse me. Now, this is a list of the most desired blood work. You could add to it, but this is like the minimum I want you to have done. On this list are over 4 to 6 tests, depending on which ones you have done, that will tell you early signs of cancer. Now, please hear me out. I am not a physician. I cannot diagnose, I cannot treat, I cannot do any of those things, and nor do I want to. And this is not an inclusive list for knowing if there's cancer, but this is an early way of knowing if there's any possibilities. Okay, so number 2 is get that list off my website. And number 3 is always underlined. Always get a printout of your labs immediately. Now, I say immediately because so many people will say, oh, I'll get it later, and then you forget, and then you don't have this paperwork to look at. Okay, and so let's look at this. Now, also on the bottom of the paperwork that says desired blood work, there are a couple websites you can go to order your own blood work. If you say, well, my doctor won't do it or my insurance won't cover it, then order it yourself. It's amazing. For right now, you can just order it yourself, and it's not expensive. There are lots of discounts available. You can order your own blood work, and if you can get some of it covered by your insurance, fine. And if you can't get all of it, then order what you can't on your own. Okay, now problem. When you print out your paperwork, you can look at it, and you can then do what I do. I take a highlighter and I start marking the numbers that I'm really watching for. And if you're like, Annette, I don't know what to look for. Well, we're going to have this as part of our membership site coming up soon, and hopefully by fall. And we'll do some training on what numbers to look for. Okay, so that's going to be an amazing value for that membership site. Now, there is a problem with having blood work done, is because not all of the labs that run blood work are consistent and are calibrated the same. So there are specific companies that you can guarantee they're going to be run the same. And I'll do another post about that. Ellie Cullen is a nurse who actually helped start a new lab, not new as of today's terms, but a separate lab that she can track your blood work for years. In fact, she did this with one of her clients. Her name was Judy Flickinger, and we shared this on our video series. So if you haven't watched the Treasures of Healthy Living video series, you do not realize what you are missing, because we cover all of this on that video series. And so she tracked her blood work, and because it was always done on the same calibrated machines year after year after year, you could 100% track what was going on. Well, her alkaline phosphatase was actually, her normal score calibrated for that machine was running in the 35-45 range year after year after year. Now, realize that Judy went to L.E. Cullen for her services because she was having high blood pressure. Well, high blood pressure is not, a prescription-derived problem. You're not like missing a prescription while you have high blood pressure. You have high blood pressure for many other reasons. And then when you do specific blood work, you can actually figure out why you're having high blood pressure. So it's amazing. Okay, so she was tracking her high blood pressure and changing her food intake, her calories, her nutrients, and then her supplements. And so she got her blood pressure down, and she's a busy nurse and crazy lifestyle. Well, while doing that, she actually discovered that her alkaline phosphatase was running between 35 and 45 for several years. But then the next year, it jumped into the 70s. Now, here's the thing. 70s is actually within optimal range. But because Judy knew her normal range and it had jumped, something was up. Now, this something that was up actually turned out to be pancreatic cancer. But because she had her printed out lab works, she could take it to her doctor. It took 8 different doctors to listen to her. Finally, the 8th doctor listened to her and said, okay, I'll run some tests and we'll see what's going on. He didn't even believe her. But she had the paperwork. She had the proof to say, hey, my normal limits, this score is outside of my normal limits. She discovered pancreatic cancer in the early stages. And because she discovered it so early, they were able to treat it immediately. And she is living a very healthy life. And this has been like over 20 years now. And this is like how old our story is. Now, here's the thing. Consistency is imperative for your future health. So if you aren't having your blood work done with a very specific lab, then we just have to trust the numbers as best we can. But here's one thing that always stops people from doing this, from protecting their future, from staying healthy, from being aware of what's going on. It's finances. I'm telling you, I spent $1,000 one year and realized what was going on. And then I corrected it and it went away. What if I hadn't done that? What if I hadn't been tracking my numbers and realized, wow, my ovarian cancer score just went up? I could have been one of those people going to the doctor and he says, oh, you've got ovarian cancer. And that's not good, So don't let finances interrupt your future. So figure out how to schedule this into your budget and make it happen. Okay, here's another thing. Don't let, hey, I feel good, be a reason to not track your blood work. Okay? I feel good because not all cancers are symptomatic. They're very asymptomatic. So we need to be aware of this. And so if you're tracking your numbers, you can actually see cancer sometimes 2 years before your doctor will ever pick up on it. Okay? So, we need our doctors. They're very important for our health and for our future. But if I can avoid certain, procedures and surgeries, then hey, that's what I'm here for. All right. So I told you about the alkaline phosphatase. That's just one test that you wouldn't even know to look for. But even if you don't understand the test, if you're watching your numbers and they change, anybody, whether you understand medicine or not, can say, wait a minute, my numbers just changed. Something's going on. Another thing to understand is if you get your blood work done when you're sick, and most of us, we go to the doctor when we're sick, and your doctor says, hey, while you're here, let's run some blood work. That blood work is going to be skewed because of your sickness. And so your cholesterol may be high, your glucose levels may be out of whack. And so then you end up getting on a cholesterol medicine. You might be put on metformin because oh, wow, you're diabetic. But it was really just the inflammation of your sickness. You see what I'm saying? So we really have to know our numbers. Okay. This is very important for children as well. But I'm going to put a little asterisk here in the middle of my video blog. is if you have children and you're wanting to have blood work done, then I really, there are certain tips that I want to share with you. I can't share online live like this. So if you just want to contact my office, I'll connect with you personally. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand. The highest risk of developing disease, especially cancer without warning, is because we aren't getting enough testing done, specific tests. And then we aren't paying attention to it. We aren't looking at it ourselves. Do not ever accept the phrase within normal limits and feel like you're good. That within normal limits means you're average with about 95% of Americans. I don't know about you, but I've never wanted to be grouped within 95% of Americans. Most of them are sick, and I don't want to be sick. I want to be optimal. I want to be at optimal health range, and I want you to be. That's why I'm doing this for you. I already know this stuff. I'm not teaching myself. I know this stuff. I'm doing it for you, okay? I hope you get this. Realize lab testing is just that. It's just a test. It helps us to see the truth about what we know. Like, something just feels off, so you get lab testing done. Or sometimes it's just like, I feel fine, but I'm going to get it done anyway. This is why it's important. If you feel fine, but a lab test indicates that you're at high risk for something, then consider that a blessing that you discovered it. And you can adapt, you can make changes, or maybe you do have to have surgery, or maybe you do have to have a treatment of some kind, but you caught it earlier. Okay, so the next step is to take action, to make changes to protect your immune system. Yes, we have got to protect our immune system. If you say, Annette, I don't get sick, well, then I would probably quiz you and say, well, how many colds did you have last year? Oh, I just had 3 or 4, but that's nothing. Yes, it is. It means you have a compromised immune system. It means you're susceptible. Hey, we need to address that. Okay, so beyond testing, which is so pivotal for your health, I want you to just stay tuned to my teachings. As I said, I already know this stuff. My family does this stuff. I'm just doing this for you. You are who I am investing in right now. Stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Stay tuned to the Facebook page, the blogs that we're writing. And as I said, I mentioned earlier, we're going to be starting a membership site because so many of you want more in-depth information that I cannot share on a lot of these platforms. But because you matter, we're going to make that possible. So anyway, I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. I hope you have found this helpful. If so, please leave a comment down below and share it. Share this video with your friends, your family, your women's group, your Bible study. This is valuable. This is valuable. This is worth, I don't know, how cancer, is like a $500,000 expense. So this is worth $500,000. That's the value of this short video, which I've now gone, I can't see the minutes, but obviously longer than I should have. Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. Like this, share it, and don't stop sharing this. All right? Thank you for joining me. Until next time, have a great day. And remember, I forgot to tell you, God loves you.